in recovery, there are two scenarios which they say, that one is that the recovery is slow, and other is that there is a strong rebound in the recovery. In these four scenarios, if you see, the best case scenario is that if recovery is strong and the government intervention is also strong and the COVID is contained and there is an immediate recovery, then if we are operating at, or suppose in the month of February you are operating at 100 level or 1 level, then by the end of October you will be again at that level. The business will come again at the same level by end of October, September or October. That is the best case scenario. And if you take the worst case scenario, that the COVID reoccurs and the management is also not to the extent which is presumed, then it shows that it will go something to next year, June. So the best case scenario is that if everything goes well, we are able to manage the COVID and the government support is also there. By October, we shall be in a position again operating at the same level that we are operating maybe a month ago in February, you can say. And worst case is something around June. Rest is scenarios are in between. So this is these are the two scenarios. So we have to work towards as to how best, if we are able to manage this COVID thing and also act cohesively, then probably October is the month. Maybe by Durga Puja we should be in the same position as we were. So this is some McKinsey study which I thought I'll share with you. We have done our analysis based on that. So our projections are something like, if best case we will lose 7% of our traffic, worst case we will lose 20%. So this year will end with 7% to 20%. That is the we saw this best case to worst case 7% से 20% का as compared to last year business पे effect उसके अंदर आ रहा है. So it's a very well done study by McKinsey. Somehow I couldn't share it. I would have shared the graphs with you. As far as post COVID is concerned, जैसा अग्रवाल साहब ने पहले ही बताया, बहुत सारी चीजें पोर्ट ने भी की हैं, paperless, so many things we have done. We are day to day, we are interacting with all of you. So all this is being done, but what I feel, this is something which is not for maybe a month or 15 days. This kind of working will continue for few more months. As Mr. Vivek Gupta said in his opening remarks, that this is the new now. No, this is something which we have to accept and imbibe in our life. I can tell you how I am coming to my office. When I'm coming to my office, I bring my lunch, I bring my tea, I bring my cup also. To be very frank, because 2 days ago, one of our peons got positive. So I have to quarantine 5 officers and 10 other staff, 15 staff, we have to quarantine. So, new protocols have to come in for each of us. We should seriously think about it. New protocols have to come in, new protocols of working. You might have to work without a driver. Please understand, you have to do. There is no other way. Paperless. Today also, just before this, I had a discussion with other stakeholders. One round of work we have done, maybe more paperless. As Agrawal Sahab also said, this is also an opportunity. I see this as an opportunity that we can make more and more simpler things, more simpler. Other aspect which I feel post-COVID is the human resource. The maximum, effect will be on human resource. For all of us, it is important to take care of our human resource. How, you have to help them. You can give them mask, gloves, but you cannot make them wear. So please make them understand, wear whatever. But that will be the biggest, casualty. If you see in the medical sector, which is working, medical sector, the biggest casualty is, if one case happens and there is little this thing, 15 doctor quarantine mein chale jate hain. Likewise, we are also, if one case comes, he takes 15 people away. So when we start, and it has to start, we cannot keep on going like this. Maybe slowly होगा, 3 तारीख को कुछ होगा, फिर उसके बाद maybe 10 दिन बाद कुछ होगा, 15 दिन बाद कुछ होगा. बट ये नहीं होगा कि हम ये सोचे कि जून से हम लोग पुराने जैसा करने लग जाएंगे. वो नहीं हो सकता. I don't think before September, October we will be in a position to move freely or do things like that as we used to do earlier. So there is a strong need for all of you to, in fact all of us to see how, what practices to and what things to do so that हमारा जो human resource जो workforce है वो effective रहे और ठीक ठाक रहे, काम तभी हो पाएगा. Rest is prioritization, reorientation. Everybody is doing that. Another one positive thing which is being discussed, which Government of India is also thinking at its highest level, I like to share with you, is that the opportunity which is coming in view of the companies moving out of China. It is a real, it is something real. The government is working very seriously on it. We are also working. We are also making a strategy as to how to attract, this new businesses. We have got a lot of land, so this is one we can offer. So government is coming with a new policy. So all these things are going on. So this is a big opportunity. So we can also think of how to attract all those people to India. So it's an opportunity for India and all of us. Let's work together. I can say in the end that the only mantra to survive is support and survive. It is a time where each of us have to support the other one, and in the survival, the individual interest has to be subservient to the interest of the entire chain. I must say, I work in the logistics chain, and I see when things start improving, people start pulling one side to another. Probably this is not the time to do that. Whenever things start, let us all try to support each other and look towards a strong rebounding recovery, at least in the eastern sector, which I can say. In the end, I will like to thank Vishal ji, Vivek ji, for inviting me and giving this opportunity to share my thoughts and views with all of you. It's always a pleasure to come to MCCI. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your elaborate process what you have followed in QPT, and for which we are able to function in both Haldia and Kolkata. It is only because of your leadership we have been able to achieve this, sir. While we wait for Mr. Swaroop, I think I'll just go through briefly a few questions which are coming up on the chat. I'll first take it to Mr. Agarwal. So one of the issues being raised by the Bengal Timber Importers Association, they are importing timber from various countries, is issue of the certificate of origin. The president, Mr. Vikas Khemka, is also here with us. Now, what the problem they're having is the original is not coming from the country of origin, from Indonesia or Malaysia. And the customer is asking for a bank guarantee in lieu of the certificate of origin, which is impossible to get in today's time in lockdown situation. So is there any methodology we can follow? Maybe a post-dated, current-dated check as a security, or online checking of the CO, the copy of the CO, because the CO online is available. So you can check it online and verify the CO, whether it is genuine or not, and then allow it to happen.
Yeah. Let me say my principal commissioner has issued a public notice. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, my principal commissioner has issued a public notice, I think 3 days back. And I would like on this issue, my joint commissioner is there online. I have seen him, Mr. Satish.
Yes,
and my principal commissioner, Mr. Deep Sekhar, has also joined. Just now I got the message that yes, there is a direction from the government of India that we cannot hold up your consignment, that you can go ahead with clearance of the cargo without original country of origin certificate. But you, in any way, there are some benefit attached to that COO, that is country of origin certificate. Then to claim that benefit, at least you have to satisfy us that yes, these are there with us, or online verification. Satish, can you elaborate? Suppose somebody has got, like they said, that we can verify online, then still you require hard copy?
Yes, hard copy is required, sir.
Okay, then in that case, I just want a suggestion from MCCI that what kind of security that now you mentioned, because security in our Government of India notification, it has not been specified. But I'm with the trade that you please give me the kind of security which you will be able to offer in this period. And then I promise you that by Friday, This today is Wednesday evening. By Friday, I will try to get some clarification.
So our suggestion would be, if you can
Yeah,
take
please.
a amount of check and keep it with you as a security, and in the meantime, you give them the time till the lockdown is over. Maybe 15 days after the lockdown is over, they have to deposit the original with you. Otherwise, the check will be encashed.
No, okay. Can you just elaborate on that? Because suppose you are giving me check. Can that check be, because banks are open, can that check be the forwarding letter of the bank that, okay, this check sufficient balance will be maintained to that time, or 15 days or 1 month time? I'm just asking, this is my
I
query.
don't think so. So bank don't have such a process in India where they can certify this balance will be maintained. The only thing they can do is either give you a bank guarantee or a pay order. But in both cases, the liquidity of the importer is stuck. And today's time, the liquidity is the main challenge.
Okay. Do you have a problem with export house or trading house or some, you see, a status holder exporter or importer? Any importer exporter
Most of the importers are not status holders. So these are all normal importers.
And sir, I would like to add, the banks are already very behaving in a very funny manner. They're already claiming that they are very stretched. They are truncated services with the skeletal staff. So they are not even releasing normal documents in which there is no credit. Nothing is involved just because they're authorized dealers of foreign exchange mandated by RBI. They just have to act as courier. They receive the documents and they hand it over. Even that process they're taking up to a week. I have myself experienced that. So,
and so another point I'll add in this. So in case of certificate of origin, it is online. You can verify the certificate, whether this has been genuinely issued or not.
Okay, I understand. Please, that I have got a recent instruction also from my ministry, and there has been a public notice. That public notice will be sent to you, to the merchant chamber today itself. My Joint Commissioner Satish will send a copy to that. And on that, if you can improve upon and you can send me some suggestion, I'll take up this evening or tomorrow morning with my ministry. And I am 100% sure I'll get some solution. Don't worry about that. You leave it to me. Your problem is an opportunity for me. So I'll told you in the evening, in the beginning, that please don't worry about all this. This is an opportunity for me to come to you and serve you in better manner. Please. Next question.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So one question that's come on my chat is that can you get issue an e-pass for movement of good to red zone areas?
What is e-pass? E-pass for what?
For movement of material to for export to areas which are under red zones.
You see, these are completely under police, and Port Trust has made an arrangement. Vineet is here, our Port Trust chairman. We are issuing passes only the persons who are concerned with clearance of import or export cargo. That's all. Because we have been asked to be a very kind of reserved in that, or you can say that minimal, so that movement, both restrictions as this dichotomy, we have to live with that. And so we are issuing the passes not for the vehicle movement or for the cargo movement. Vehicle or cargo movement, police has to give, and police in association with the Port Trust.
And so one last question with regarding customs is, which is very pressing. I'm sure you will finding solution to this, is the movement on Petropol border with Bangladesh and to Nepal. So you already point on Nepal that you've tried to handle it through Bihar border, but unfortunately Bangladesh doesn't have any such issue border. So how do you resolve that issue?
Yes, I must tell you that since last 15 days, almost 15 days now, that on every half an hour, not even hourly, half hourly, we are in touch with ministries, we are in touch with the state government, we are in touch with the High Commissioner of Bangladesh, and hopefully this evening you will get some solution so far as Petropol border is concerned. Because, there were some issues of drivers going that side and drivers coming this side, and then a spread of, that is the fear of a spread of COVID-19. And so a lot of precautions are being taken. And I talked to, today only Home Secretary talked to me. We have talked to High Commissioner Bangladesh also. As an Indian Foreign Service officer is there, 1996 batch. And we are all working out a solution. And hopefully by this evening, we may roll out and export and import may start today. Yeah. Petropol.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. I think these are the main issues. I will open up to the House once more later. So coming to the Vinit Kumar sir, couple of issues which have been flagged by our members also is regarding shipping lines and CFSs. We have Mr. Jaiswal also who's running his CFS here, that they are not agreeing to the guidelines of the ministry in passing on the benefits as advised by the ministry.
देखिए, these are advisories. What ministry has issued is advisories to the shipping lines as well as to the CFSs. Now CFSs in the beginning till 31st March, they have given waiver of the ground rent, but beyond that, I think excepting few, others are not giving. As far as shipping lines are concerned, case by case basis, we are taking up with them wherever there is an issue of demurrage being charged during the lockdown period. Now, ministry per se has also taken up with the national bodies of both shipping lines as well as
CFS.
At yesterday, there was a quote from our minister to all shipping lines that, you know, it is better that at this time of crisis, they support the country. Otherwise, the ministry will have to take a call as to what is to be done if somebody defies the order. So this is the situation. We have requested all of them time and again to give these benefits, which have been extended by the advice by the ministry. Our customs has also issued similar circulars on the lines of that to all the importers and exporters. So that is it. However, there is another side to it. If you, I will say, share my experience that the earlier guidelines were till 14th. So the average per day removal of the containers by importers was, if you say from 22nd of March to 14th of April, was 18 per day. And from 14th, the earlier this ground rent order has gone, and from 15th, it was the clarity was not there whether it will be levied or not again. So from 15th to 19th or 20th, when the next order came, the delivery increased to 180 to 200 containers per day. So, you know, while we understand that everybody has issues, you know, but effort should be made by the importers also, if they are in green zone or they are in orange zone, if they can lift their cargo, please lift it, because, you know, otherwise what will happen as of now, I have got 11,000 containers in the port today. Maybe I'll be able to function 2-3 days more. I have requested Agarwal sir for some, we are working out some methods. So otherwise, the limited total capacity of Calcutta is, I think, 10,000 is ours, and total all CFS put together is 25,000, not more than 35,000 containers. So if we do not lift, you know, maybe after 10 days, we'll reach a situation that we'll not be able to take any container in Calcutta or the entire this thing. So with these, no, and now with this after 20th, when the all movements have been allowed, all trucking movement is allowed, warehousing has been allowed, I would request all of them to please try to shift and remove the containers as much as possible. And I'll again request all the CFSs and shipping lines to give all the discounts and everything which has been mandated by the ministry. But we are taking it up at the highest level. Let us see, maybe in a day or two, we will get some results.
Thank you, sir. So,
Bhaiya, Anand Swarup ji is come.
Mr. Anand Swarup has joined us. Welcome, sir. I think you got stuck with the minister. We can't hear you, sir. Can you unmute him, Bishop?
Yeah, thank you so much. And my apologies for being late. The minister is still taking a meeting. But I was there listening to what Mr. Agarwal was mentioning or what Vinit was mentioning. So most of the points they've already covered. I would only like to mention that there are certain good learnings from the pandemic. One, of course, as Mr. Agarwal mentioned, and what Vineet mentioned, is about digitizing of the processes. So I'm happy to inform that today itself, the DGFT has moved a file where we are trying to digitize the bill of lading, and we would start accepting bill of lading in a digital form. Draft notification would be issued in a day or two seeking for comments. I was also listening to the point which was being made about the need for a security for certificate of origin. So that issue was also taken up with most of the counter governments, and most of the government.
Sir, unmute him. Rishabh?
Sorry, Anandji, you're.
No, not.
Sir, sorry, we lost you, sir.
Yeah. So I was mentioning that on the certificate of origin, most of the countries with which we have free trade agreements for preferential certificates of origin, they have agreed to accept the digital form of certificates of origin. And the customs also has issued a notification in India to accept the digital certificates of origin, subject to an undertaking or appropriate security. So I think if Mr. Agarwal considers it to be appropriate, it could be on the basis of a appropriate security or through a check, which somebody is suggesting. That may suffice, but it's a matter of examination by the customs.
Yeah, Anant, we have already got an instruction, but the thing is that the wording is such a thing. You have seen that it has to be backed by appropriate security. But as you rightly mentioned, Anant, that okay, it is online since digitization is there and we can verify online. I am on the point that whether I can accept without any security. I am telling you, I am on that point. So I'll take up with Prime Ministry tomorrow morning. And if I can verify in this age, if I can verify and I am satisfied that okay, COO has been issued, that's all. I can get a print copy of that, then it's good enough. That's I'm trying my best. Let me see if I am successful.
Yes, sir. So that's one of the learnings. Like we have also started moving on to a digital certificate of origin. We already have an acceptance by Chile where they now accept our digital certificate of origin and they have dispensed with the physical copies. So the world has to start moving towards digitization, sir, and that's a very valid point which you are making. Right. That why should we even ask for a appropriate security if you could verify online?
Online. That is my point. That is my, since you spoke out and you have spoken out my hurt. So let me. That is the reason I also cleared my feelings. That is the reason I didn't want to speak today unless I get the result. But still, you provoked me to speak out my hurt. Yeah.
The other point, I think there is a lot of realization that one, the issue of Petropol was being raised, and we take that point. It's an issue which is being discussed at the highest level, where we have to abide by international agreements and allow movement of cargo to happen. But there are certain challenges which we are trying to live up to. The learning from this is that we should start promoting more of a railway movement across Bangladesh. So where you avoid movement of a lot of trucks, and in one rake you can carry cargo which 200, 300 trucks could carry. I am told that the permission has now been granted for movement of railway rakes to Bangladesh. Presently, it is limited only to the essential commodities, and then later more commodities would be added. The third point is, as somebody mentioned, the first priority was for the government was to contain the disease. And then, as the Prime Minister said, that Jaan hai to Jahan hai. And then later, of course, he mentioned that Jaan bhi or Jahan bhi. And now it is the time for the government to start opening up the economy in a calibrated manner. As I mentioned, I was late because of the meeting which the minister is taking. The meeting is still right now on. There are certain advantages or certain opportunities which are now arising out of this pandemic. As Vineet was mentioning, a lot of countries are now looking at whether should we put all our baskets into one country or one commodity, where they are looking at diversifying their supply base and that offers us a lot of opportunities. One, attracting some new investment into India, and also at the same time expanding our export basket and start exporting commodities which we are presently not doing, or enhance our export capabilities. Pharmaceutical is one area where it has tremendous opportunities, be it APIs and be it formulations. The other area which we think we were just discussing, the government is working on identifying certain sectors which we call them as champion sectors for promoting of manufacturing in the country. Electronic equipment is one area which has been identified, where government is trying to come up with some fiscal incentive for the countries to start coming and investing into India and start manufacturing, because in India itself we have 50 billion worth of imports only of electronic commodities. The other area where the ministry is focusing is how do we diversify, as I mentioned, white goods, furniture. These are the areas which government is thinking of could be the areas where we have certain advantages in promoting our exports to the rest of the world. We have an empowered committee under Mr. Parmeshwaran Iyer that committee meets every morning and reviews how the supply chains are working. As I mentioned, the first priority, of course, is to contain the disease. But at the same time, to sustain the lockdown, it was essential that supply chains continue running. And I'm very grateful and happy that our ports and our customs and our airports have lived up to that expectation and are performing quite satisfactorily despite the challenging times. One of the issues which is to our notice, where I'll request Agarwal Saab ki if he could have tell us how do we solve it. Despite the advisories being issued by the government, be it shipping or be the CFSs, the implementation is very poor. And there's a lot of complaints coming for non-grant of waiver for demurrage charges or for the port detention charges. How do we get it implemented? My suggestion was if we could look at issuing a notification under Section 141 of the Customs Act, there we could have certain legal authority to get this advisory enforced. Or the other option could be to utilize the National Disaster Management Act and issue an advisory. But still, on both count, I agree that the implementation is very poor. I had a talk with some of the shipping lines today morning. They were of the opinion that since this waiver was available, many of the importers who could move their cargo were not willing to move the cargo and were using ports and CFSs as warehousing, which has led to congestion at ports and at the CFSs. You would be aware one of the ports, Hazira, has stopped accepting any ships because they do not have space to store more cargo. So that is also there. The other option could be like what the air side did, was a waiver of 50% demurrage rather than 100% waiver, so that there's an incentive on part of the importer also to evacuate the cargo as quickly as possible. If you have any specific concerns, we'll be very happy to take them. I'm part of that empowered committee which meets every day, and we'll try to resolve them. We try to make the process as simple as possible. Only the driver with his driving license was allowed to move trucks without need for any pass. E-pass is an issue which the government is trying to develop an app where you can get on a centralized portal, you can start getting e-passes, but that's a few days ago. So thank you once again for the opportunity, and my apologies for being late.
Anant, let me tell one point which you raised about the advisory issued to CFS. Of course, Shipping Ministry has issued on that basis only, and our ministry also issued a kind of advisory. On that basis, we have issued advisory to CFS. And now some of the CFS are here. Mr. Jaiswal is there. Associate Mr. Pramod Srivastav is there on this platform. I would like to hear from them. And I have requested them orally on WhatsApp, in meeting, every forum. I have requested them to please implement, please give them. The same thing, like you mentioned, same thing. They also reiterated that, sir, we are giving the benefit, but importers are not coming. They are using this facility as like warehouse, and they are waiting for the last day to come. So, to resolve this, we have issued another or two advisories to importers also. To our own customs broker and importers, we have issued advisories that please avail this opportunity. We have, mentioned that these are the benefits given to you right now. And in sequence, we have issued two advisories to importers. We had a meeting with my principal commissioner, and commissioner also talked to custom broker. Please now clear the cargo. They were taking, genuine problem of availability of trucks and other logistic issues. But now after 20th, I think, and which that Empowered Group Committee, which you are a member, Mr. Parameswaran has given a statement, and Times of India has published today, which I read out, you must have heard. The truck movement have started now. Almost 80% truck movement is there. That is from 67 to 80%. So all these, increased commercial activity and in the logistics sector. On this platform, I can only again request, as you mentioned rightly, to all my CFS and the Port Authority, of course, they are beneath, you must have heard. Beneath can also request them. I would like to hear from Mr. Jaiswal and Mr. Pramod Srivastav and others who are there on this platform today.
Jaiswalji, would you like to say something on this? Jaiswalji, are you able to hear us? I think his audio is not working. Rishabh, can you
that might have been mute. He has to keep.
No, he's complaining about his listening also. Rishabh, can you unmute his mic, please? Ashutosh Jaiswalji.
It's not happening for some reason.
No, it's happened.
Jaiswalji, can you hear us?
Or anybody from CFS like Pramod Srivastav or anybody?
Pramodji, I'm not able to find him here on the.
Rishabh, unmute him, please.
उनका हो नहीं रहा है some reason.
Because abhi kuch ye Jaiswal ji hai na? Yes, I am seeing Ashutosh Jaiswal ji.
He's having some problem. Oh, but he's having some audio problem. He just sent me a chat message that he's not able to hear anything.
Oh, he must have muted some issues there.
He is unmuted right now.
I'll tell him to log in again.
Meanwhile, can we invite the other last speaker for a very brief comment?
Mr. Banerjee, can you just give your perspective on the current situation and how we expect to move on from here?
First, I'd like to thank Metropolitan Chamber of Commerce and Industry for having me here and to share my thoughts. I think the representatives from the government have adequately addressed operational queries have, and many of them are also coming in the section. I think what I would like to focus on is very shortly on the problems that you would continue to see in the short to medium term and highlight some of the reasons why I might not be able to offer solutions. I think this is still something that we need to work together on. But also talk about kind of the longer term perspective that this will lead to in terms of the operational challenges and continue to be there. I think Vinitji mentioned already for discussing the port related issues, but I just highlighted. So the first one is that from an Indian perspective, a big problem that we are likely to face is related to the way we have labor organized in our logistics sector. Typically, the operations require very specialized skills for certain functions. So, for example, a picker or a packer is a very specialized skill. We don't realize it in normal times. We realize it when abnormal times like this. A loader cannot do the job of a picker or a packer in a warehouse. So this leads to a lot of constraints which we did not foresee. So for example, in a situation like this where not all of your workers are available and you have to substitute a small number of workers to do a lot of different things, a loader trying to do picking and packing delays the whole process enormously. I have spoken, I come from the logistics industry myself. Before Asian Development Bank, I was with the Deutsche Post DHL Group. So I was talking to a few of my friends in warehousing operations, and they said that the time to basically do the entire process has gone up 3 to 4 times because the picker and the packer is not available. Also think about the CFS end or the warehouse end in terms of trying to optimally stuff a container or ULD in the airport. These are very specialized skills. We don't think about them in normal times. To optimally use the space in the container and ULD, meet the weight norms, and do a decent job of packing it and making it ready is a very specialized skill. Not everybody can do it. In a situation where maybe 30 or 40% of your workforce is there, and those skills are not easily available, you will have delays in operation. So the delay in the chain starts very early at the warehouse, at the terminals and all of these places. The question that we need to answer as we go forward is how do we broad base these skills? Because this is not the last emergency that we are going to face. And we probably have to learn how to deal with a leaner workforce. So it's not about this digitalization of the processes. That's one solution. The other is definitely the skilling part of it. The second is, I think the unsaid story, I mean, all of us, I think, are aware, but the unsaid story about the whole issue that we are discussing on CFS, the condition in the ports and the CFS is related to the fact that you have a huge supply-demand mismatch right now. This is just not true for India, it is true globally. There are certain inventories that were ordered prior to the COVID-19 crisis. When there was a demand for these inventories or an ability to distribute these inventories to the market, that thing is now gone. You might have imported certain commercial goods or luxury goods or other items from, let's say, China or Southeast Asia, which you will not be able to use properly or efficiently. Many importers are choosing not to claim those products from the port or airport, which is leading to congestion. So in some ways, the trade is equally responsible. So while the port, customs, and the airport are doing their best, in some ways, this supply-demand mismatch is also a factor. It's just not having trucks to move your inventory or not having the people to clear them at the port or airport. It's also not wanting to clear them because you know that you have to hold that. It's a cost for having to clear that inventory and hold that inventory with you. So that's a big challenge. And that's not going to go away in the near future. Please don't think it's a 1 month, 2 month, 3 month problem. This will remain. The second is the whole issue of receivables. So a lot of people are not going to get paid. I'm not talking about workers. I'm talking about the people you buy from. So they're going to be missing parts of the supply chain. Already we have seen, for example, in Bangladesh, a lot of the RMG factories seeing huge, on the brink of bankruptcy. So, and this is going to be very, very normal across the world. So a lot of your suppliers, and India is not a big buyer from the world. So it is just not about Indian buyers from these, units that matter. It's about the global demand that they have. So for example, there might be units in China which sell 15 or 20% at most the inventory to Indian customers. Rest they sell maybe to US or to Europe or elsewhere, which are also in lockdown. The fact that their cash flow is very negatively impacted might mean they shut down temporarily or for some period of time. This means your supply chain also gets impacted because they will not be producing for you also. You'll have to either find alternative sources or not have sources at all. So these kind of disruptions will also come and they'll only intensify 3, 4, 5 months down the line when this cash flow crunch really becomes a critical element of what we are seeing. So I guess the larger point I'm trying to make is that we are in a phase of huge amount of disruption. So what's the solution in terms of being able to handle this at the port? Of course, all of us are aware what's happening in the air freight. 80% of air freight is carried by belly space of passenger aircraft. Now with tourism and travel completely negatively impacted means you have very reduced number of flights. So the ability to provide you with air freight services has been very negatively impacted. So for all those sectors who use air freight, either prices will go up or you will not have the services that you are used to, transit time will increase, all of those things will happen. So I'm not trying to give a scary story here, but the point I'm trying to make is that the disruptions are going to be in place for 7, 8, 9, maybe a year's time. So how do we deal with these issues? One big thing would be to look at how we can utilize the resources that we already have. So to that extent, you know what Vinitji and others were saying in a digitization, maximization of port operation, all of those are very good ideas. But let us also try to completely revamp the way we do business in India. So, for example, we have DPE and DPD. To the extent the system can even force people into that model, that you will have to collect your container once things return to more of normal. You have at least the trucks working again, etc. Or identify priority importers or exporters and make them move their cargo and give them limited amount of time. So we'll have to get more and more harsh in the way we have optimized this operation. It's inevitable unless and until we'll run into a lot of problems. The second issue is what Mr. Swaroop was saying in terms of the use of rail. That definitely is an underutilized element in India, and I don't think it's going to really ramp up in the short term because there are infrastructure constraints. You have a passenger network that you have to support. But to the extent that the network can support to move things into rail in India would be another way to optimize things. The last point I would like to make is, and I think Mr. Swaroop has already made, is that a lot of the small little things that we are doing to increase our efficiency should have happened anyway in normal times. For example, the electronic gate passes, the electronic DO, or the electronic out of charge, being actually electronic and not having any physical intervention when things move in and out of the port or airport. So all of these things I think are great because one hopes that this will sustain even after the crisis is over. So that's where we are heading towards. I think what we need to do is get mentally prepared for the challenges that will systematically come to us. And all of us individually think through how best we can handle it. And of course, we have a great team in government, people like Mr. Swaroop and the Chief Commissioner, Mr. Agarwal, Mr. Vinit Kumar. They're just three of the very large team, wonderful team that the government has. As you can see, they're extremely proactive. They're very open to ideas. They're willing to put in the extra effort to take it to the top levels of government to find a solution. So we are very lucky to have this backbone that we do. But I think the solutions would have to come from us. So the larger point I'm trying to make is, as I go through the comments, all of us are trying to ask us for a solution that we are facing, and that's natural. As businesses, we do that. The question is, yes, I have found that problem. Can I also offer a solution that is there in my mind, operationally speaking, keeping in mind the objective of the regulator? So Mr. Agarwal, for example, when he pointed out that he is willing to accept the rules of origin online to the extent that they can be verified by him to be authentic. So, are there ways we can, that's one example. Are there other ways we can, come up with solutions like that where, the regulator's objective is met, that, they are not compromising the tax sovereignty and security of the country, but we find our operational solution as well. I think we have to work proactively towards that, and an organization like CCI can help kind of put all those problems together and discuss solutions that can come from the business itself. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Banerjee. Giving a perspective on the entire logistics scenario. Mr. Jaiswal has joined, I think. I could see him. Can you hear us, Mr. Jaiswal?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Agarwalji had a question for you. Agarwalji, if you can just put that.
Mr. Jaiswalji, I think I have spoken to you. I have entertained a lot of messages we have exchanged on WhatsApp also. And this is regarding Joint Secretary, Mr. Swaroop has also raised this thing about non-passing of benefits to the members of the trade. A lot of complaints are going to Empowered Group also. That whatever benefit that is, of course, we have issued the advisory, both Port Trust, Ministry of Shipping, Customs has issued advisory that whether demurrage, detention, handling, whatever charges you can give benefit, whatever suggestion at the port. That people across the board that all CFSs are not doing. If I had spoken to him, I have issued one more advisory also that all CFS alike can extend the benefit and they can request. Mr. Jaiswal has requested me sir, you can issue an advisory to importer and exporter and their clearing agent, custom broker also to clear the cargoes and container for evacuation of container. We have issued that. We are always on board, Mr. Jaiswal. Please, my request is on behalf of the trade, we are all should work. We are the equal partners. We are the stakeholders. So please extend the benefit. That's that all your members should extend the benefit.
Yeah. Can I come in?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. In fact, let me just tell you, as a CFS in the supply chain, before the cargo reaches to the end consumer, we are the last. So it is just like making a house, where you order the grill at the last and everything is delayed for that, basically. So my entire perception was CFS as a whole was declared as an off-dock facility, and 7 ministries were empowered to issue LOI to the CFS against which we were operating. All of a sudden, for the last 2 years, the system has been changed for the trade. And let me be very straightforward. We are a large importers, exporters, and fortunately, we are into the logistics also. So I have the pain of all the three. In fact, I'll tell you that when the advisory was released, and I being the chairman of the National Association of CFS Eastern Chapter, so what happened is we sat down and discussed with all our members and convinced them that they should pass on the benefit to the trade to the extent which is possible, and as keeping in mind the various advisories issued from time to time. See, according to us, the last advisory which was issued on 28th of March, which actually opened the warehouses and actually allowed intrastate movement of cargo as well as movement of people. So after that, the members agreed for 31st of March. Up to 31st of March, we will give free period. Unfortunately, even up to 12th of April, the evacuation or clearance of import cargoes from the CFS or from the port, as Vinit Kumarji has already mentioned, was very, very feeble, negligible, and it was congesting all the CFS as well as the port. Now, when the clarity of the extension was not there after 14th, which came around 21st, so from 13th night to 21st, the movement and evacuation from CFS, the data has been shared to you, sir, also, and to Vinitji also, that the movement of cargo had all of a sudden jumped. So my question to the importers is, what actually changed? What actually changed? Nothing changed. Everything was as same. So how come the volume increased all of a sudden 10 times? Now, fortunately, we have raised this issue to the Special Secretary Logistics. Fortunately, he is retired. And we told him, sir, it is becoming counterproductive. I understand as an importer also that many factories are closed. Even my factory was closed, but we cleared all the cargo. They took it to the factory, took special permission from DM and everything and handled. So my question was, people, I'm not saying that all the importers are in the same boat. Some are really facing issues. That is okay. So considering everything, we have as a CFS, we are the only CFS in the Eastern region who has complied to the first advisory of the Ministry of Commerce, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Health up to 14th of April. We are giving totally free period up to 14th of April. Sir, after 14th of April, when things are normalized, even after 20th of April, when things are normalized, because the extension has given up to 3rd of May, you see the evacuation has gone down. We as CFS operators appeal to all the importers that genuine cases, if there are genuine cases, say for example, people are unable to take to Howrah, which is sealed. People are unable to, in those cases, case to case basis, things are being still resolved at various CFSs. So my appeal to importers are, do not take that advantage or do not wait for that opportunity that after 3rd also the lockdown may be extended. So the government will give extension of time. As Vinit Kumarji has already told, it is an advisory. It is not a law. And we are CFS operators. We have a cost. We are paying rental, lease rental to the port, which is not being waived. So it is not possible for us to give blanket permits to everybody. Thank you, sir.
Here, Mr. Jaiswalji, I just on this point, since on your request, we have issued 2-3 advisories to importers, exporters. As you appealed, I also appeal to all my partners in progress, I call them. That's the terminology I use for my trade, by my importer and exporter, that please avail this opportunity, as Mr. Jaiswal ji has already pointed out, that yes, there is a scope. Wherever there is scope for clearance of cargo, evacuation of cargo, please take it out from the port and CFS, because Binit has also said that after 10 days, we may not have space. And like Hajira, we, returning the ships, that there is no space. So we may be in Calcutta, we should not face this situation. Maintain the supply chain, and please avail this wherever it is possible. As I'll request Mr. Jaiswal that please issue this kind of advisory among your members, that consider wherever there is a chance or wherever there is adequate region, sufficient grounds for waiver, please waive up to 14th of April. At least my request, my advice is that you can, among your members, you can discuss. Wherever it is there, like, like Habra, you mentioned some other members, you can have their factories not being allowed because that may be in red zone or something like that. Or they are not getting warehouse permission or simply this one, they have got difficulty in getting passes, somebody was mentioning. So please consider those requests, and please, because we are all, I told you, we are all equal partners, we are stakeholders. So at this moment, we should all, walk an extra mile to help the trade, at least to exim trade. Thank you, Asudesh.
Thank you, sir.
I will just add one thing to this, sir. Can we have a system? See, every factory is allowed to function against a DM's order. If a person importer can produce a letter that he has not been allowed to operate his factory, and then the waiver can be given, extension given. Otherwise, he should be able to operate the factory. So if something
Vishalji, let me tell you, he may not be able to take to his factory, but he can definitely take the cargo and warehouse somewhere at a cost. He should do that. He should exercise that right of warehousing that cargo somewhere. No,
I totally agree with that. Like Vinit sir was saying, that we have space only for 3 more days. So we have to evacuate. Otherwise, the whole system will come to a standstill. So we have to find a way out wherein we keep moving the material also, and the people, importers who are having genuine problems, we can resolve their issues.
Yes. I will, sir, just make a small point. People who have imported cargo on 26th, brought the cargo on 26th of February. They are also asking for waiver from 22nd to 14th. It is not possible for us. It is not possible.
That is really
sir. 1 month he is sitting tight. He is sitting tight on the cargo and showing me ministry guideline. It is not possible. We have told, okay, you can apply wherever you want, but we can explain our case very clearly.
I fully agree. I fully agree that yes, wherever there are genuine regions, genuine concerns, genuine difficulties, genuine problems, please, we are all there on board to solve the issues, to bear the burden. So please, on this platform, whoever are there, importers and exporters, please avail this opportunity. And Mr. Jaiswal ji has already made it clear. He will convince his member that on ground of genuine regions, of course, you will get the waiver. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
So one question has come up from Mr. Anand Swarup is regarding the load axle limits, which has been implemented from 2018, but Bengal has not implemented it. That the cost of movement in Bengal is going up by 17%. So what is the way we can have this done, sir?
Anant is there online. Anant can answer.
Yes, Anant is here, sir.
Yeah, and there is, in a federal system, you are aware about the limitations of the central government. So the best the central government could do is only to issue an advisory to the state government and request them. That we have been doing for the past few months now, and the issue has been raised also at the chief secretary level. So we'll continue to pursue the matter with the state government and hope to get it resolved someday.
I think so. We've had a very good session, and a lot of issues have been discussed and resolved online right now. And I'm sure going forward, if anyone others have a problem, they can take us offline with MCCI, and MCCI would be very happy to resolve their issues. We have very good officers in all the departments who are proactively coming forward to help the trade. So please take this opportunity and give your problems to us, and we'll help you resolve it.
Vishalji, before you conclude, I'll request my principal commissioner, if he's there online, Mr. Deep Shekhar.
Yes,
is
sir,
there online?
He's here, sir.
Deep Shekhar, you can appeal to our exporters for all these drawback and refund related queries and all these things which you had done on some platform, no? CI or some platform, some conference. Deep Shekhar, you can request all the exporters. Deep Shekhar is there online? Deep Shekhar?
Sir, in fact, we have been getting a lot of questions on our chat for
refunds.
Yeah, Deep Shekhar ji, Deep Shekhar is there online? Yeah. Can he appeal to all exporters to come up? We are there to solve their queries and we can answer to their queries and they can get their refund or drawbacks. Deep Shekhar?
I think he's showing online, but I don't think he can hear us.
Okay, then my joint commissioner is there, D. Satish. Satish
Yes, sir, he's here. Rishabh, can you unmute him?
Yes, Satish?
Sir, good evening, sir.
Yeah, you can appeal to all the exporters. Whatever we have a lot of pending drawback and refund.
Yes, so we are pending a IGST refund and drawback at various error levels, sir. One is IGM error and GSTN and invoice mismatch. I request all the exporters whose IGM means IGST refund and drawback is stuck up because of the invoice mismatch and GSTN number. They can give their details on the email ID which was created for this purpose. This email ID was dedicated for this purpose. In this thing, wherever the IGST refund and drawback was stuck up because of the invoice mismatch and GSTN mismatch, they can forward the details immediately so that we can do that required things and we can disperse the refund. And other things like SB006 where transshipment error, they have to speak with the counterpart of the Krishnapatnam liners because it's pending with the liners of Krishnapatnam. If they came forward and do the supplementary filing of IGM, then the refund at Calcutta port can be dispersed easily. Until unless the Krishnapatnam liners come forward and do the required things, this particularly the transshipment error cannot be solved. And so that I request the exporters to take up the matter with the liners, and the liners will speak with their counterpart in Krishnapatnam or Visakhapatnam so that this error can be solved easily.
Yeah, I think all the exporters have heard. I'll just repeat that there are some errors which can be resolved by the steamer agent or the shipping line. They can resolve by EGM non-filing or EGM error. So far the drawback is concerned, some mismatch of invoice over IGST refund or some other errors, there is a dedicated portal or line has been created, email ID where you can send, our officer will resolve. So on part of, I am happy to announce that on part of, because there are some queues, rows are there on the part of my superintendent and my assistant commissioner, who is the final authority for sanction, very few or you can say negligible number of refunds or drawbacks are pending. Whatever pendency is there today reported to me this morning, it is on account of exporters, queries, IGM non-filing, mismatch of invoice, these kind of errors. I appeal to all my exporters community through this platform. Please avail this opportunity. Please come forward. You need not come physically. Send your documents, send your replies, send your tell your shipping lines and agents to file EGM. We are there. We'll release immediately. Every day we are generating a scroll. Thank you very much. Thank you, Vivek. Thank you.
Thank you, Agarwalji. I'll just request Swarupji to give his closing statement, and then I'll go to Vinit Kumarji for his closing statement, and then we'll wrap up, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity. It was a pleasure to interact with all of you. And I'm grateful to Agarwal sir being such a proactive customs principal commissioner. I'm sure he must be of great help and facilitating a lot of trade. We also have a very dynamic chairman of the Kolkata Port Trust in Mr. Vinit Kumar, who's always very helpful. So I think the eastern sector is very secure and lucky to get such dynamic officers. In case you have any specific queries, or in case you face any specific problems related to logistics, I'll be very happy to interact with you and try to resolve those issues. So thank you once again for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Vinit, sir, your closing statements.
Yeah. Thank you, Vishalji. I would like to share, we have also nominated one. I was just going through the questions which have been put on chat. So I have one or two I have answered, but I can, for the benefit of others, we have nominated a nodal officer. Girish is a senior deputy traffic manager, the nodal officer for Port Trust. So I'll share the number with Vishalji. So you can pass on that number. So in case of any problem related to port, they can always, all the participants can always get in touch, and our email, etc. is already there. I'll thank you for giving me this opportunity. It was really very enjoyable and good session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Before I hand over to Lavesh Poddar, our chairman, Logistic Committee, I'd just like to mention, because he will not have the list of the people who have attended from the Customs and Port side, apart from the Chief Commissioner and the chairman. We've had Mr. Deep Shekhar, Commissioner Customs Port. We've had Mr. Rajesh Jindal, Commissioner Preventive and Land Ports. We've had Mr. Sidney De Silva, Additional Commissioner Airport. We've had Mr. Amrinder Narayan, Additional Commissioner Port, and Mr. Satish, Joint Commissioner Port from the Customs side. And apart from the chairman, we've had the Deputy Chairman Balaji Arun Kumarji and Mr. Himanshu Shekhar, Traffic Manager from the Port side. Thank you so much, and I please request Lavesh Poddarji to give his vote of thanks, please.
Before you propose vote of thanks here, since Vineet has mentioned something, let me say, please, through this platform, I request all my esteemed participants in progress, all my members of trade, especially the EXIM trade, please go through the Calcutta Customs Zone website, where we have created a special window for COVID-19 related all facilitation measures. We have listed out, we have charted that we have, even suppose you are not able to contact anybody, there is a additional commissioner rank officer, Mr. Amrinder Narayan, whose details are mentioned with email ID and phone number. You can contact him 24/7. Amrinder is there online? He is there online?
Yes,
I'm there, sir.
Yes, my additional commissioner is online. He is even today can take your questions. So in any case, his email ID is on my website, or I will tell Amrinder to please send the merchant chambers today your email ID and phone number. So
Right,
in
sir,
case any customs related queries on problems, please mail or call up my additional commissioner, Mr. Amrinder Narayan. We are there. Thank you, Vivekji. Thank you, Vishalji. We are thankful that it was a very enriching experience. It was, for me, it was an opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Lavesh, please give a vote of thanks.
Pramodji, just one small question for you. There is export of fly ash happening from Bajbaj. There are 4 jetties. There the inspection is done by Sea Customs. But the LEO is issued by the Land Customs. Can both be done by the Land Customs? Can you please look into this?
Okay, I know that we have, but for you, I am the one. For you, I am Chief Commissioner, is only one. We have divided various customs formation under various commissioners, so that we have a land port, we have a separate commissioner. For Sea Customs, we have a separate commissioner. If you have any problem, for you, I am one. So you can always approach me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. After a very engaging discussion on impact of COVID-19 and solution for seamless logistic operations, I take this opportunity to wholeheartedly thank our guest, Shri P.K. Agarwal, Chief Commissioner of Customs, Kolkata Zone.
No, I object. I object. I am not your guest. I am as equal as you. I am equal partner.
Thank you so much, sir.
Our partners. We should mention our partners.
Yeah.
Next, our partners, Shri P.K. Agarwal ji, Chief Commissioner Customs, Kolkata Zone, Shri Vineet Kumar ji, Chairman, Kolkata Port Trust, Shri Anand Sarup ji, Joint Secretary, Department of Commerce, Shri Preetam Banerjee ji, Logistics Specialist, ADB, for gracing the webinar and enriching all of us through their valuable views and insights. And special thanks to Vishal ji for moderating the session. I express my heartfelt thanks to the members of our chamber, friends, business, associates, press, and all the participants for their august presence in this webinar. I believe with initiatives like these, we can find solutions to many problems which the sector is facing today due to the lockdown. I propose a hearty vote of thanks and request all of you to carry this with acclamation. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you all of
Thank
us. for
Thank you,
attending.
Vishalji. Thank you.
And I will just add, sir, this is the best team in Eastern India we've ever had, sir. With,
Sure.
This I'm taking with 20 years of experience in the import trade and port logistics. There could not have been a better chairman or a chief commissioner or the entire team of people in the custom and port for us.
And sir, the same has been conveyed to the Honorable Minister when I was having a Zoom meeting, conference call with him yesterday in the evening. Anil Agarwalji also.
Sure. Good. Thank
Good.
you. Thank you.
Thank
Jai
you.
Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.